Look, I was saying all that and you couldn't hear anything, but that's fine because Sean is here. So let me let him into the room. Hi.
Hello, hello. How you doing?
You are muted too, I think.
Oh, all right, 1 second. Can you hear me?
Let me see. Maybe I'm not hearing you.
Hello?
Oh, there you are. How
Okay.
are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing excellent. You know, I'm alive and well. Can't complain. How you,
Awesome.
how you,
Awesome.
how's
Awesome.
everything?
Everything's great. Everything is really great. I'm a little under the weather. Well, I was under the weather. I'm getting over being under the weather, but I feel a lot better. And it's great to see you.
Word. Thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited. It's been some time.
Yeah, I know. Because season one was at least 2 years ago now.
Yeah, that was I think 2021. That was like beginning of 2021.
Yeah, yeah, that was the beginning of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just jump right in. So what have you been up to? What are you doing?
So as of lately, I've just been working on my own shoe design, and I think I showed you a little bit of it a couple months ago, like a year ago. Um, but I actually just took a trip to Portugal about 3 weeks ago because that's the factory. The factory that's making my shoes is located in Portugal. So we're like at the end, we're like at the final stage of the shoe design. So I had to fly out to finalize just a few more things to make
That's
sure.
exciting.
Yeah. So I went there for about four days, and within the whole 4 days, I may have slept about 5 hours the whole trip. Yeah, I was pent up on just adrenaline and excitement and coffee too, because the coffee over there is crazy. Like they give you a little tiny cup of coffee, but you're up for like a whole 5 days. So it's wild. Um, so yeah, so I've just been working on getting that shoe release solidified. If everything goes well, we're looking to release the shoes around May. So so that's it's very exciting.
Yeah. So when that was the next thing I was going to ask you was when do you think you're going to release it? Be releasing your shoes? So May. That's exciting.
Yeah, so production takes about a month and a half to 2 months.
Hmm.
Um, and the type of sole that I'm using, it takes about a month and a half for those soles to get made. So the way the process works is the soles get made first, the soles get shipped out to the factory, and then the factory starts production for the shoes. So
Hmm.
so yeah, so altogether, like that whole process takes about 3 months, three like 2.5, 3 months. Um, but it's just crazy because like on this side of the business, like it's you don't realize how many moving parts there is to the whole process of making the shoe. It's like it goes through the sampling phase, and once you finalize the sample, you have to get the production pieces. You have to get the soles made. You have to source the leather, make sure that we get the right weight, the right color. It's a lot of moving parts. And I was looking hopefully to release way back in December, but I needed to make sure that the shoe was right. And if I'm going to put my name on something, it has to be, it has to have my stamp of approval on it. So, right now we're looking to get the sixth sample back, sample number
Wow.
six. Yeah, it's been through six samples. We're looking to get that back by the end of this week. So once we get that, then we finalize the design. Once we finalize that, and then we're ready to put into production.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. I don't think a lot of people realize until they're actually in it how many steps go into this. And with footwear, I feel like there's even more moving parts because there's so many pieces to that one shoe.
Yeah. Yeah, as I was explaining that, to get the soles made, that comes from a separate factory. The leather comes from a leather mill. So it's, you basically got to reach out to these different factories and manufacturers to order all the pieces into the factory that assembles the product, and then it gets made. So yeah, it's a lot, but I'm excited for it because I like seeing the back end of things. Like, it's nice to see, once the brand is done, it's like, oh, this product is cool, this is dope. But I like to see, like, like when you see a clock, right? And you see, the hands of the clock, but then when you look behind the clock, you see all the gears and all, like, I enjoy seeing the gears and all that. So
Yeah. It's interesting to see how it all comes together.
yeah, yeah, and I'm gonna show you the shoes. I would love to show it right now, but I'm so close to release date, so I kind of want to just wait till I have the final sample. But I'll definitely show you where we're at in terms of the product and everything. So I think
That's
you like it.
that's totally cool. And I will put it on Instagram as soon as I see it.
Absolutely.
All right. Awesome. 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 That is a great update. So, first question, well, next question I want to ask you is, in terms of from pencil to production, like, what made you decide that you wanted to even participate, from the beginning?
Well, I thought it was a great opportunity to kind of take me out my comfort zone. I normally don't do, competitions and things of that nature. It gets me a little nervous. Um, so I wanted to just kind of, like I said, step out of my boundaries a little bit. And also working with you and, taking the classes that we took, it kind of just motivated me to, to take that step. Like, all right, I learned these skills, and I use those skills to sketch out shoe models and so forth. So I'm like, you know what, let me jump into pencil to production and, try give it a go. I got eliminated first round. It is what it is. It's all good. But listen, we had some really great contestants. I mean, Molly's amazing. I was actually her teammate on one of the projects that we had to do.
Yeah, and that's the one you won.
Yeah, yeah, that was the one I won. So I won. We won something. I won something. Um, but it was cool. Like, so yeah. To answer your question, I really wanted to kind of step out of my comfort zone and really, show my talents and show, what I bring to the table, and that's why I decided to, take that chance with pencil to production. So.
Nice, nice. And what do you feel like you got from that whole experience during season one?
Um, Well, I got a couple things. Networking.
Mhm.
Afterwards, I continued speaking with a few individuals like Casey. Um,
Mhm.
so I was able to, connect with him. Also, just the other individuals. I followed Molly on Instagram, and I talked to her here and there, and just kind of just the networking aspect I did learn from that, and also some of the lessons that were taught at the beginning of the contest. I remember Casey was talking about the sustainability, um, and how a lot of brands are moving towards that, and reasons as to why a brand should move towards sustainable product, and so forth. So I did learn. You guys did a good job in terms of bringing in people within the industry that really knows their stuff.
Mhm.
So I definitely took away a lot of knowledge, industry knowledge, from the competition, which was really dope.
Awesome, awesome. What kinds of things do you think that you are, if anything, that you're applying now you're releasing your shoe,
Hmm.
and you're slowly building your business, which is great. So do you feel like there were any lessons or anything that people said or anything that you're applying now to your business?
Um, yeah, there's been a couple things. Well, one thing in particular was the topic of sustainability. When I went to factories in Portugal, I learned that a lot of the leather factories, they give you certificates with the leather that you purchase from them. So, and the certificate basically certifies that the product was made in, like, a healthy environment, um, and none of the animals that were used for the leather and stuff was treated in any negative way and so forth. So I kind of took away the aspect of you know how do we add more substance to our brand to kind of show the audience that we do care about where our materials are coming from, and how those materials are being used. So um, just a bunch of things. Also, along with the sustainability, I've recently I encountered something called leaf. It's leather that's made out of leaf, and I think
Hmm.
it's called I want to say it was like something to do with like it's like an elephant ear leaf. It's like a type of leaf that's called elephant ear, and it's like really big, but it doesn't use any animal leather, and it's just as strong as regular leather. So I'm going to be using those types of materials in
Nice.
the shoes that I release, because it's better for the environment, and also it kind of it goes with the brand. My brand Coco, while being that it's kind of like beach vibes, nautical, island vibes. Using like leaf leather would kind of work nice with the brand. So I am using these lessons that I learned from the competition in how I'm moving forward with the materials being used in my product.
That sounds like a really awesome story for you to work into your marketing.
Hmm.
And I'm glad that you are thinking about the sustainability aspect because of all the different parts of fashion, the footwear, the accessories, beauty, apparel. Footwear happens to be one of the ones that um, needs the most work because of all of the parts that are associated with putting one sneaker together. There are a lot of parts that aren't as recyclable and that aren't as sustainable. And so, footwear in particular has actually been on the forefront of trying to figure out what other kinds of materials can be used so that footwear can be more sustainable. And so you're following in the footsteps, and that's great. That's really great.
Yeah, you gotta start at some point. It's we
Yeah.
live we live here on the earth, so we gotta maintain it as best as we can.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, what do you think was the hardest thing about being a contestant on From Pencil to Production?
Um, the hardest thing was going back to the whole reason I decided to join the competition, which was getting out of my comfort zone and speaking, and kind of showing my face in the camera. Like, I do it on my Instagram, but like, I don't know, not as much as how I was with the competition and like what we're doing now. So the hardest part with me was just kind of just getting comfortable with being in front of the camera and doing this right now. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Do
that
you
was
feel like you are more comfortable now?
yeah, I've definitely gotten more comfortable, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I've definitely gotten more comfortable. It's even to the point where it helps me out at my job, because I work in sales. So um you kind of got to be in front of somebody, in front of someone's face, talking to them about something. So
Yeah.
it's definitely helped me out.
Yeah. And do you have any kind of meetings like this for your vendors in Portugal?
Yes. So I usually have a bi-weekly call every 2 weeks with the factory that I'm working with. So the factory that I'm working with, the name is called Advanced Studios, and they're based out in Portugal, and Felgueiras, I believe. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but and they're actually working with a lot of big brands. Um, and every 2 weeks we have a phone call, and we just go over updates, where we're at with the sample, where we're at with the production of the boxes, because they also make the shoe boxes. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and there's certain materials, components that go into the shoe boxes. So I'm getting updates on, how's the dust bag looking. Um, we're looking to get a certain type of wrapping paper that has like my beach ball print on it. So we're looking for, we want updates and pictures on that. Also, we're getting updates in terms of the sole. How long is that going to take before we get the shipping of sole? So it's just a lot of a lot of just updates on where we're at with the progression of the project. So yes, we have these phone calls, usually bi-weekly.
Yeah, yeah. So there's quite a few comments. First of all, Jersey Art Productions says that your shoe designs are fire, and he wears a size 11. And he's putting his order in now.
I got you.
Ascot's father says, amazing story. Thank you for going into detail about, what you've been doing so far and about the sustainability. Jersey Art Productions says, dealing with Casey had to be interesting. So
Oh,
let's talk about Mr. Casey. How was that?
Casey was well, I mean, as I said before, he was like Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank. He what I like about him was that he kept it real, and I feel like in this business, you're gonna have people that kind of tell you how it is,
Yeah,
and you you kind of just need to have a tough skin, and you need to be able to take that information and really analyze it and figure out how you can how it can better things that you're doing throughout your day.
yeah, yeah,
So Casey was just that that blunt force that you kind of need, you know.
yeah, yeah. And the thing that I like about Casey is that it's always said with love.
Mm,
I mean, he's just who he is. But the one thing that I like is that he's not just doing it just to be malicious. Like he
yeah.
just says what's on his mind, and if that happens to be what's on his mind, it just comes out.
Hey, you gotta respect it.
Yeah, yeah, you really do.
Hmm.
I almost like that. Not even almost. I think I like that better than someone who's like, well, we think that we like it. And I'm like, look, you like it or you don't. If you don't like it, just tell me.
Yeah, just let me know. Just rip the band-aid off. Just don't even.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I feel
Exactly.
you.
Okay, and Imani wants to know, what is the most valuable thing you learned from the competition?
The most valuable thing I learned. Um, I learned how to really like, being that we were limited with time when we had to do certain tasks. I kind of learned how to kind of move quick, kind
Mm-hmm.
of think on your feet and improvise. Um, yeah, how to like really come up with an idea like that. Pull something out of thin air. So the
Yeah.
competition kind of taught me how to be quick on my feet and kind of just think outside the box.
Yeah, yeah. Which I'm sure after working on your shoe, that's really valuable. And as a small business owner, being able to just get real creative with how you do things and how you pay for stuff and how is this all going to come together, that becomes really important. And something that you actually, once your company starts to grow and you get more money, you kind of feel like you can do more things. And in a way you can, but in another way, it's almost better to be smaller because you can be a lot more nimble and say, you know what, I don't like that. Let's not do that. You know, so I am glad that that is something that you feel like has been helpful to you, because it's something that I wanted all of you to experience, is that, being able to, okay, here's a challenge, we got to get it done. Here's a challenge. We got to get it done, you know,
Yeah.
and you got this amount of time, come up with something, whatever
Yeah.
it is,
Yeah.
you got to come up with something and it's got to be done in 30 minutes
Yeah.
or 20.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, funny story. When I was in Portugal, the factory had gave me news that the soles that we wanted to use, they were only allowing us to do a minimum order of 1,000,
Mhm.
and I'm doing 200 pairs of shoes, and I couldn't take 1,000 pairs. So the uh, the owner was like, "Hey, listen, I have to go to a meeting, but I'll set the meeting for you to speak with the manufacturers of the soles and see what you can do." So
Mhm.
I'm like, "All right, say less." So he set the appointment. I drove over there. It was like an hour, 30-minute drive. I drove over there, and at first he was like, "Yeah, unfortunately, we can only do 1,000 pairs." Da da da. And then I'm like, "Listen, I gotta think." In my head, I'm like, "I gotta think of something I could to say to him." So I basically told him the story of how I started making shoes, how Nike and Ambush was inspired off of one of my designs, and they went off to make a lot of money off of it. And then he had a similar situation where a sole that he manufactured, a bigger company saw the sole and ended up running off with their idea. So off of just what happened to me and then off of what happened to him, we kind of made like a little connection right there. And off of just, talking, whatever, he actually was able to hook me up with a 200 pairs of soles at the custom color that we needed. So
Wow.
so
That's
yeah, so
amazing.
I had to really think of something to say to him that would kind of build a connection that he was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take a chance on this guy. And
Mhm.
he took a chance. So yeah, in this business you really gotta like figure out a way that you can make it happen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you really do. You really do. And you just brought up another thing that I think is really cool, and that is, sometimes I feel like it's kind of a lost art, is just being able to talk to people, and just say, "Hey, this is what I got going on." Being transparent, telling your story, and connecting with that other person. So now they feel that, and they take all that in. And they're like, you know what? I'm gonna take a chance on this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, you got to figure something out.
I'm totally intrigued. I'm like, oh my God, I want to see these shoes and I need a pair.
Yeah, so what I can do now to show the audience, I can show you the shoes that. So basically, the way I operate is I make the physical sample, and
Hmm.
then I either send the sample out to the factory or I send them pictures, and then they recreate my design on the sole that I chose from their catalog. Um,
Gotcha.
so I can show you guys the shoes that I made,
Hmm.
that basically the factory is going to recreate and make it even better. So
Nice.
I'll go ahead and show it. So my stitching is like it's you know what I mean? It ain't all that. So don't make fun of don't make fun of me. But
We cannot. We would not. We would not.
so
I love it.
so yeah, so this was the shoe is called the Flow Runners. And it's based off of a Nike Air Max 1 sole. So I use a Nike Air Max 1 sole, and I used I have something called a last, which is basically which looks like this.
Hmm.
It's a shoe last, and what I do is I would I would tape up the last. I would tape it up, and then I would sketch on to the last, and then from the sketches that I sketch on to the last, I then cut that up, and then I make individual pattern pieces, which I then glue together and then sew. So it's like a whole process. So I used an Air Max 1 sole, and I had an Air Max 1 last that I used to make this shoe. And then once I made it, I sent this over to the factory in Portugal, and the shoe came out even like crazier. Like they added things that kind of made it look a little bit look better, reinforced a lot of pieces. But the shoe that is currently in production is nothing like this. It's like 100 times better than this. But yeah,
Nice.
this is basically what it was inspired, what I created, which then the factory went ahead and recreated, and it's called the Flow Runners.
Those are cool. They're
Mhm.
really, really cool. And you know, I tell my students this all the time, like, don't tell on yourself, because like we don't know the difference between like stitching or any of the things that you're thinking look a hot mess. We don't know the difference. We're just like, that shoe looks crazy.
But see, but
Uh,
that goes back to what I was saying. Like when I put my name on something, it has to be, it has to be the way it has to be, So
yeah, yeah. So Imani wants to know if you make them in small sizes.
it depends on what's small. Like I started at size 6Y, which is a woman's 7.5.
Okay. So Imani would put your size in the comments. And Jersey Air Production says he needs those. They can match with a lot of things. Is it the same colorway or a similar colorway to what you're showing?
No, it's gonna be a different colorway.
Okay.
It's more of like it's gonna be like a white, black, red kind of colorway. Something that's simple. I want to do a simple colorway that like you'd be able to wear with a lot of fits. Uh,
Okay.
so it's more simple.
Okay. So he'll still be able to match it with a bunch of things.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Nice. Nice. Imani says not a woman 7, more like a 5.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
she's got a small foot.
I'll make something work for you. I'll make it happen.
All right, you heard it here first, Imani. Okay, well, awesome, awesome. So let me see. Did I got to almost everything, and then we beelines, which always happens. Um, I guess the last question would be like, would you recommend the experience of From Pencil Production to other people? Why, or not even why not, but if you would say like, okay, this type of person, like if you're looking to do X, Y, and Z, this is a great experience for you. And I really love that you're not your footwear, so that other people understanding that you don't have to just be apparel, you can be anything that kind of falls into that realm of fashion.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely recommend whoever's looking to, like I said, kind of step out of their comfort realm and also compete with other high level individuals that kind of pushes your skills to the next level. Because as they say, iron sharpens. What's the phrase? Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron. Yep.
So it's important to be around other individuals who will be able to um, you know give you a different perspective on things and open your eyes into other ways of doing things and other strategies. Like when I was working with Molly, she was able to sketch up our idea like in a matter like of seconds like that. So it kind of just it just motivated me to continue working on my Photoshop skills and do things that I haven't done before. And
Mhm.
also just like the classes that you offer, like that class changed it changed a lot for me. As a matter of fact, I started making my own shoes, like in terms of my own shoe designs after your class, because I started.
Nice.
Yeah, that's when we made the shoe design, and we went step by step. Although that shoe isn't the shoe that I'm looking to release, which that's old news right now. What I got new is even crazier. But um,
And
that
that one was cool.
yeah, and that one was cool. That one was cool. But yeah, that class, it really just it 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 opened me up to another realm of like, oh wow, you know, this is another way of doing something. This is another way of creating designs, which it went on to allow me to create colorways. So now what I do now is whenever the samples that I receive from the factory, I would take a picture of that. I would sketch the shoe over so that I can add my own colors. So now I'm just making tons of colorways of my shoe. But I learned all these skills from taking the classes with you. So I definitely would recommend, and I have actually recommended people to take your class because you basically learn what you would learn in a semester of college within a few days within your class. So it definitely was definitely helpful. And yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend this for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hopping on with us tonight and chatting with me and keeping us updated. We'll be looking for your shoe to come out.
Absolutely. I will keep you.
Everybody follow Sean at on Instagram. Is Instagram the best place to follow you?
Yeah, Sean.coco.
Sean.coco.
Sean period COCO.
Yes, and we're going to be looking for your shoe early. This spring drop, so we can all get our new kicks for the spring season or for the summer season.
Yep, for the spring summer, we right in that realm.
Yes, yes, awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, again, thank you very much, and for everyone who is listening and watching. Thank you for dropping in and sitting and chatting with us and listening in. And we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Later.
Bye, Sean.